G'day guys, new and old, well, welcome you to the channel because this is going to be a massive one for all new players and even returning players that have played before, because I'm going to try and get you the most efficient way of upgrading all of your drone gear so you're not just wasting your time and wasting your materials where you don't need to. So it's going to be a little bit of a different one today. I've got a spreadsheet for you guys. You know that this is probably the first spreadsheet I've ever done, so bear with me. Tell me in the comments if there's anything else that I should add into this or anything that I should do, or if you like this kind of content, because I will keep it coming if you do. If you don't, tell me to fuck it off and it'll be gone. But bear with me because I'm going to go through and I'm going to save you time and valuable resources that you really do not want to go and waste. So let's get into it. Before we get to this spreadsheet, we're going to talk about where I'm actually meaning, and we're going into the drone tab at the 0 point forge. This is where you go and use all those materials we've gone and found out in the overworld and turn it into sweet gear. So I've really only broken down the drone side of it here. You could go further and do the equipment and armaments. I might do that in the future if everyone does like this style of content and wants to know the fastest way and most efficient way of upgrading their gear. So you can see here, this first one, the basic augment capacitator, it increases the number of augment slots by 4. It is absolutely useless. Don't even bother wasting your resources on that, even though they're ones that come from the free area. So we'll use tier 0 as an example to really get the gist of what I'm talking about. So if you have a look, you've got the basic augment capacitator. It is a tier 0, so is these, but this is stage 2 and stage 3. Stage 1, all you need to do is have the materials to do it. As you can see, I can forge it, I've got those. To do stage 2, you also need this common drone component. How do you get that? You need to craft stage 1, and then you deconstruct it and you get these little bad boys over here. So these drone components come in tiers 0 through to 5. So if we look over here at tier 1, and we'll go stage 1. So you see all of these only need resources to be crafted. If we go stage 2, these need tier 1 uncommon drone component. So if we bring up both of them, you can see there's a basic harmonic stabilizer and an advanced harmonic stabilizer. You do not need to craft 2 basic harmonic stabilizers to craft the advanced harmonic stabilizer. All these tier 1 stage 1 components will give you the same uncommon drone component after you deconstruct them. So today, this is what we're going to be looking at. What is the most efficient way to use my materials to get my drone components so I can have the superior of the drone components that I really want? I know that's really wordy and really hard to follow, but hopefully I can explain it well enough that you are going to be saving those more rare materials and not wasting them on these basic ones. All right, so we'll head over to the spreadsheet, talk a little bit about that, and then we'll pretty much jump between the two. And then I'll try and explain it as much as possible. If I'm not making sense, or if you need a little bit more understanding, make sure you message me, because I will write back and I will help you. I want to make sure you're not wasting your time out in that beautiful overworld, even though that's not wasting your time. But let's get over to this spreadsheet. So here it is, my first go at a spreadsheet. Let me know if there's anything that you would change or anything you'd like added into this. It's pretty simple. So down the left, we have all the different components, and they are split up into different tiers, as you can see. So tier 1s will always give you the same uncommon drone component, and as you go up, you get the different drone components, and they are kind of like a section. Next, you've got the materials that you're going to be using, the amount of that material you need, what tier the material is. Same again, the second material and third material cost and tier. So the score down here is literally the cost times the tier plus together for them all, and the lower the score, the better, which means you've used less materials. I've got a list of what does it do. Next one is it useful? This is just my opinion, guys. You may think that it is useful for what you want to be doing in the overworld, but I think a few of them aren't really that useful, and you'll get to know that as you play. And then the last one, burn craft. What I mean by that is this a piece of equipment that I should craft to literally just burn down into drone components, so then I can upgrade one of the other ones in this section. So we'll start at the top here, the radiometry sensor. It has a score of 13, and I don't think that this is useful at all. Heat map accuracy, to me, I don't think you need that at all. and it uses stuff all materials to craft. So burn crafting that, yes. That will only cost you 13 materials to get a drone component. Next one, vegetation sequencer, harvesting energy, useful? No, not at all. You pretty much don't have to harvest vegetation at all because you don't need augments in this version of Overworld just yet, or the arena just yet. So again, Burncraft, yes. The next one, harmonic stabilizer. It increases your capture power. This is useful, yes. Burncraft, no. So in the first tier, these two, I would Burncraft, yes, because they are using materials that you do not need for your harmonic stabilizer, and they're using less materials than you need for the harmonic stabilizer. And looking at that, you'd even just only do the radiometry sensor because it is using even less materials than the vegetation sequencer. Again, there's lots of words here, guys, but the main thing you need to take out of this is, are you using materials that you're going to need for the other drone component? And then work out which one's the most efficient one to just craft. So then you're not wasting the materials for when you want to do your superior harmonic stabilizer. You're going to have the right amount of chromium and palladium. So go back over the game now. The harmonic stabilizer, this is the one that we do want to have, but obviously we want to get down to the supreme harmonic stabilizer. Now, as you can see, we need 8 uncommon drone components to craft this. And then 14 of the chromium and 2 of the palladium. So I'm probably ruining the names of all these things, but I'm giving it a go, alright? And the thing you need to notice is that, so in crafting just this basic radiometry sensor, you get 8 of them crafted and deconstructed. All you need to get a supreme harmonic stabilizer is 14 chromium, 2 palladium, and then the 8 drone components. You have saved yourself heaps of materials, because those materials that you use in these two are pretty much not used in anything that you need. So that is just tier 1. It's probably the most straightforward because there's 2 that you are not going to use. So you just craft them, and as I said, just do the radiometry sensor because it's using materials that you pretty much don't use anywhere else. And then craft 1 superior harmonic stabilizer, and bada bing, bada boom, you have the top echelon of this tier 1 drone component that you do want. So tier 2, we've got a dermite capacitor, radox amplifier, and a vacuum diverter, extra suit slots, range of detection, and duplicate essence. I really don't think you need any of those, so I would not be crafting anything in tier 2. Again, this is up to you. If you want extra range of detection or extra suit slots in your arena play, or to duplicate your essence, which, as I said, I don't think you need any of this, so don't waste time on it and do not waste materials on this. So we'll head down to tier 3, and this is where it gets difficult. We have 5 different drone components that you can craft in this section alone. So if we have a look, we've got one that duplicates ore. You may want this one. Up to you. Again, personal opinion. It's probably not at the top of the list for this tier. Alluvial slots, yes, this is something that you will need. You need more alluvial slots in the arena. So this is probably at the top of the list, depending how you want to play. Mining cost, yes. You want your mines to cost the least amount as possible so you can go out and farm as much stuff as possible. And encounter cost, exactly the same thing, but instead of it being mining, it's encountering. So those 3 you would not burn craft because they have high scores, except for the alluvial slots. That is the lowest score, but you're using materials that you need for that final one. So weapon slots, this is the same thing as extra suit slots. The arena isn't where it needs to be with PvP and bringing your own team in and all that stuff. It's literally you only go in with your own team during the overworld, and you really are just using your alluvials that you caught. So weapon slots is not really useful at all. So the 2 out of these that I would burn craft is probably the bottom and the top one, the atomic conjurant and the audience capacitor. But the top one, you just need to take note of your Vanivium stores, because Vanivium is used in a tier 5 one that you do want. So this is the whole juggling act as well. You need to look forward and have a look at what materials are going to be used in the ones that you want. And that is why tier 3 is going to be the hardest, because it has a very widespread of materials you're going to be using. So we'll talk about tier 4 and tier 5 in the same breath because they are very, very similar. All 4 of these you do want mining power. Yes, because it means you get more materials out of each mine, meaning you spend less every time you're in. Scan cost, exactly the same. A lot of people do run around, scan everything first, see what they want, and then go back. So if your scan cost is very low, then you are being very, very efficient. Chance to escape, you definitely want this. The higher, it's not your chance of escaping, it is the chance of the alluvial escaping when you try and catch it. So make sure this is something you want. And then scan power, again, is the same thing. You want this as low as possible. Yeah, more of the alluvials or more of the materials showing up when you do each scan, meaning you need to, there's less luck involved. But as you can see, these are all very high scores. As I've written here, they're very even, but I would lean to the top one just because you're using less mats every time. And then the same at this one, I would lean to the top one because you're using less mats. So this is the whole spreadsheet, guys. I'm going to leave the description down below. If there's anything else you want added, then let me know and I can add that into it. Or if you need any more clarification around anything, also make sure you hit me up because there has been a lot in this and it can be a little bit to get your head around. But I also do want to say, is it useful? It is all my opinion. I've played the game a little bit, so I feel like I do know something about the game. But then you also need to look at how often these materials are getting pulled out for you. Some people may have heaps of selenium, but no rubidium, or whatever they're called. But just have a look at your stocks before you go diving deep and making all of the ones that you think you want, because that might not be the best way to get to the superior drone component that you actually want. So that is going to about wrap it up for today, guys. If you're new here, make sure you hit that bell down there so you are not missing the next video that is posted. And if you have not watched the video that is going to be posted up above somewhere here, make sure you watch that one and continue watching my stuff because it is amazing. But anyway, I will see you in the next video soon.